Good evening and welcome to Finance and Advisory Board meeting of, what is it, June 17th. Call the meeting to order at 7:08. Tonight should be a short meeting. We have some reserve fund transfers, some line item transfers all for year end. Mike's gonna open up with talking about the snow deficit and the FEMA reimbursement.
Yeah, as you can see, I included an email from Chief Cudmore. He, as the Emergency Management Director, has been attending the FEMA FEMA minute meetings. And we thought we were gonna get reimbursed for the first storm. And when all the costs came in, it was about it was $91,633. But what FEMA is doing, and that is based on a 48. They said take your most costly 48 hours of the 3 storms. We were hoping they'd let us do all 3 storms. That wasn't the case. So they just said, because some towns got more snow in one storm than another. So our most costly storm was the first one. And so that was our total expenditure for that storm. And normally we would get 75% of that. But what they also allowed us to do, anything we did additionally for safety reasons. And we were very proactive this time in shoveling the snow. We shoveled the snow after the second storm. We didn't even wait for the third one because, as you all know, we had a little problem a few years ago with Pearlie School and the roof collapsed. So we didn't want that to happen again. So the snow removal costs for all the schools and the town hall and the safety building were $116,787. So they allowed us to include that with the 91,000 for a total of 208,420. And it's still subject to a slight change. The money, we can't cash a check yet. We didn't get the check yet. But we're anticipating 75% of that 208, which would give us 156,315. And what's a big difference this year than previous years, we would have to book the revenue when it arrived. And it's going to arrive after July 1st, so it's the next fiscal year. And it just all goes to free cash. What they're allowing us to do is take a credit for it for this fiscal year.
Yeah.
So it would directly offset, and I'll the snow and ice deficit, and we wouldn't have to spend the additional. Basically, it allows us to save $156,000 in our current free cash.
Right.
And this second spreadsheet I passed out says 2015 snow and ice deficit amortization. I tried to double check with Mary, but as best I know is our total deficit for the winter is $403,843. And we spent another $104,000 out of the budget. So we spent over $500,000 in snow and ice removal this year, not counting that does count the, for the first time, we put the snow removal from the roofs, we took it out of snow and ice deficit. So our net deficit then is the 403 minus the 156,000, or 247,000 528 that would have to come out of free cash to pay off the deficit. Now, and we're not making any decisions tonight, but this is to be thought about for fall town meeting when we have to make a decision on how we're gonna pay the deficit. The state will allow us to amortize that 247 over a 3-year period, or 82,509 per year over the next 3 years, which would leave us with 385,000 in free cash if we did it that way. If we only spent 82,000 this year.
Mike, don't you mean
No,
Yeah.
302?
yeah.
Be 302,
Actually, yeah, it'd be 302. We have 385, 154. So if we, 82 minus the, taking away the 385 would leave us with 302. If we amortize. If we don't amortize and pay off the whole thing, we would still have 137,626 going into the fall.
For free cash.
In free cash. With, before we get our,
New free cash.
new free cash. After we get done doing some of these, transfers, you know, the likelihood of our normal free cash, which has been running about 500,000 or 600,000 a year. I'm guesstimating right now it's gonna, we'll have maybe 200,000 or 300,000 in new free cash.
When do we need to let the state know what we're gonna do, what payment plan we're gonna do?
They haven't told us exactly. We do have to tell them that we're, you know, the credit we're taking for the FEMA money, that we have to set up a credit account on the books for that. But we really don't have to do the amortization until the fall,
Okay, and is that gonna,
before they set the tax rate.
Yeah, that's what I thought you said last time, it's before you set the tax
Yeah.
rate, which is really
Right,
at the very
right,
end of the
right
calendar year.
after,
Right,
right after a fall town meeting.
and do you, just for future reference, do you need a vote from FinCom and or Board of Selectmen about the payment plan?
The,
Have they determined that? I can't remember.
we haven't
I don't-
had any final rules on
No
that
final
yet.
rules on anything, okay. I didn't,
Just
They're still trying, they're still
We
trying
can
to
still
set a
advise
budget.
Even if we
That,
can't,
you know,
Yeah.
aren't part of the vote.
we don't even know what the
Right.
state budget is really gonna be.
That 302 is a projection for next year's starting free cash, right?
Yes,
Before town
if
meeting.
we amortize,
If we, but if
Over 3
we end
years.
up, or the windfall from the town for this year's free cash added to that and say we could pay it off in 1 year, correct? There's no
Yes.
penalty.
Yeah,
yeah,
and as long as we can wait to make that decision, because I thought they were gonna require people to make a decision before the end of this fiscal year.
no, we just have to book the FEMA money, take a credit for
There's just been
FEMA.
all sorts of chit chat going, you know,
Yeah.
Yeah, oh.
so,
Alright.
okay.
By the way, I just wanna mention something about shoveling roofs. As part of the school building committee, we just authorized some analysis of roof loading for Mike Anderson, so that he has some sense of when he should think about shoveling the roof off and when he doesn't need to. Because I think when people do that, they really do it out of fear. They're afraid not to. And I think this will give him a little bit better idea of what the situation is
a
with the
good idea.
roofs, yeah,
it's a really good idea.
so.
Will we still be, now, after we move out of the Pearly School, we still gonna have to shovel that roof?
No, there won't be any,
Something's gonna-
yes, we
We
will.
probably would.
Absolutely.
It's still a school, right?
Yeah.
Still
Still the
school
office.
But
and,
it's the area, there's the senior center that collapsed, isn't it?
Yeah, right.
yes.
So it falls down, no, we don't want to talk about it.
We're on TV, right?
Yeah. That's why I'm not looking at him anymore.
All right.
Are you suggesting we give the seniors shovels?
No, no, no.
Okay, any more questions for Mike? Okay, all right, reserve fund, before we do reserve fund, first, is the line item transfer. And this is a few years ago, this used to have to be done, for those members of the board aren't aware of this, we used to have to do this at a special town meeting, before the town meeting, to move line items, it had to be a town meeting vote. Now it can be a vote done in conjunction by the Board of Selectmen and the FinCom to do these line item moves at the end of the year, which makes it less stressful on Mike and his team to, you know, figure out year-end numbers, so. Mike, do you wanna explain what we've got going on here?
Yes. At our last meeting, I think I gave everybody a heads up that, you know, there was gonna be a deficit in the health insurance expense account. And I estimated about $90,000. That's basically 2 weeks' worth of premium for the town. So when we were estimating last year at this time, we knew what the rate was gonna be, but we were going through plan design change. And so we were estimating reduction in the rate, but we had to, as part of the plan design change, share 25% of the savings with the employees. That was written into the state law. And so it was tough to really get a handle on it. We didn't want to estimate too much, but when all is said and done, we missed it by 2 weeks, the estimate. So this is $88,977 out of over 3 million. So it's within a tolerance level of an estimate. So to make up that deficit, we had budgeted $40,000 for short-term loan interest, but we didn't go out to bond, and we won't be going out until the fall. We thought we'd be going out last February.
This is for the high school?
It's for several things. Primarily, though, the CPC bond, the $1.1 million.
Yeah.
And we're gonna do that bond along with the final cleanup, what we call a cleanup bond for the Pembroke School. We knew we were gonna need at least 26 million. That's what we were authorized for at the previous town meeting. We only did 24 million because we knew we had the
1.6 was under, I mean,
right, and we have the cash flow from the 50% from the state money. So we were able to use that cash flow to pay the construction costs as they came due. Matter of fact, just last week, the architect gave a substantial completion affidavit
that's right, yeah.
for the Pembroke School. However, there's a 337-page punch list that they have to work on. Yeah.
37 pages?
Really, that's not unusual.
No.
The managers don't seem, they said, yeah, things are going well. What it means though, I forgot to mention that, the school now belongs to the school department. It doesn't, it's not under the control of the contractor.
And we got past the winter.
Yeah, we
Yes,
didn't have to
we
pay
got
utilities.
through, we had no heating costs to pay.
Yeah, we got it into
thank
this,
God.
yeah, I was
Yeah.
concerned about that.
I was very concerned about it.
Yeah. But those guys didn't think that he would be finished, but he
Right.
thought he was gonna be finished, so, anyway.
And they're
So that's
still,
pretty
they still have the demo of the old school to go
Yeah.
through.
And the fields that they have to finish, there's a lot of
Right.
work to do still.
Yes,
But-
but as far as the construction of the building,
Yeah, it's
it is
done.
substantially complete. And the report, I have a copy downstairs if you wanna look at it. It's very detailed and they have pictures, of everything, you know, on the page with the,
What has to be fixed.
what has to be, you know,
Yeah.
smudge, you know.
Yeah, it's scratches and smudges.
Also,
and-
one page might be a picture of a door with a
Yes,
It
crack,
could
yeah.
be, yeah.
Yeah. yeah, so it's, and like Jim said, our OPM, you know, was not concerned, as far as they're concerned, the project was under budget and
Basically ahead of schedule.
Ahead of-
by-
ahead of
By a
schedule.
month or two, yeah, yeah.
so and they said, you know, I mean, they were not substantially completed in the legal term, but they were looking for their money last February. They thought they were substantially complete in February. So they were they've never worked with a contractor, ROPM, that, you know, did such a on-time and under-budget project.
Yeah, that guy was good, yeah.
I've only heard of one other school that came in on time, actually, on time and under budget, and it was Melrose High School.
Oh, is that right?
Yeah,
Did these guys did they do it?
I don't know.
Did
I don't know.
municipal do it?
I don't know.
who did it, but you never hear of this happening. You don't usually hear of any building coming in on time, under budget.
But actually, I digress, because you know, so we're using money we budgeted for short-term loan expense. That's where the 38,150 comes from. We're gonna have about 20,000 unspent in the town council expense line. And we're gonna have about 40,000 unspent in the unemployment expense line. So, you know, just taking half of that savings out of each line item, we still have another full month to go in expenses.
Yeah,
And this was totally unexpected. Last cycle, you know, when I asked the Essex, the former Essex Aggie, now the Essex Technical High School, you know, what the tuition was gonna be, they gave me a number. And because they had to give us a number in May, and they don't have their enrollment figures until October, this past October, they overestimated by $19,827. So we've got that budgeted and unspent. So those four items, I'm recommending we transfer from those accounts into the health insurance expense account to pay for the pending deficit in the health insurance expense.
Excuse me, Mike, will we be running into that insurance expense again next year?
I sure hope not.
Because we don't have to pay the 25% now, right?
That's right.
and plus, you're not in any kind of flux in terms of plan design, really.
Correct.
are you?
And,
Yeah,
and,
so-
and we
Okay.
unfortunately know that the rate went up 10% too. And that was an extra 10%
It
was
was over
budgeted.
10%, it was like 10.7.
Actually, I think it was 10.9. It was 11%.
Yeah.
We've taken that into account.
It's been budgeted, yes.
Yeah, yeah.
Okay, so, any other questions?
You
On
have to move that as a motion.
I'm gonna read it out as I'll entertain a motion to move line item transfers as follows: 17521 short-term loans in the amount of $38,150. Line item 11511 town council expense in the amount of $10,000. Line item 19131 unemployment in the amount of $21,000. And line item 13123 Essex North Shore Aggie in the amount of $19,827 to account 19141 health insurance expense in the total amount of $88,977.
So moved.
Seconded.
Alrighty, do we have any other questions? Okay, all those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Okay, motion carries. Alright, start it around the table. Okay. So the rest of these reserve fund transfers are just accounts that came short?
Yes,
Okay.
4 of them.
If I may, I have a question on the electric, while Robert is here too, we both did. I was under the impression that the savings were gonna pay for it. And and the company that installed it was gonna make it up if, make up the difference if it didn't. So apparently something is different.
The usage was the same, but the cost was a lot higher.
Is that because of
Rates.
the rates?
Rates went up.
So that's not,
So,
No, they can't be held,
okay,
they have to be held harmless for rate increases.
They're held on it's measured. in
no, I was
kilowatt
just,
hours,
okay, so that was set at a given rate.
Not at a rate.
No, a usage.
Usage, kilowatt hours.
but then what did they,
The rate doesn't matter. They,
right, but what did they reimburse?
Yeah.
That's what Jim and I are getting.
Yeah.
There's gotta be some
There's gotta be
a
some
factor that-
baseline, yeah.
Yeah,
the
that they'll
baseline
pay.
is, it's X number of kilowatt hours for a year.
Yes.
The town used more than X number of kilowatt in a year by the total of, what'd you say, $45,000?
No, he said the rates went up.
Rate, the
Yeah, They
rates
didn't
went
use
up.
more, the rates went up.
Right,
The rates went up that much.
but Jim and, Jim and I have the same question, I can tell.
Go ahead.
If the usage was the same,
The cost was more.
right, I understand that.
Right.
But what is the
What's the rate?
basis?
Based on the rate that they had at the time.
Okay,
There
so
we
there was a
go.
baseline rate.
Yeah,
There's a wrong way to
Okay,
say it.
Yeah.
wrong way, all right.
and
You guys
we,
signed
we
it
get
already?
we get an engineer's report
All right,
at the end of every year,
Got it.
Yep,
comparing the baseline to what
Yeah.
we used.
okay.
And for the second year in a row,
The
We-
rates went up.
we were,
I'm gonna try this again.
what did we do?
we used less energy. We used less energy
Okay,
than, the
Oh, we did?
or, yes,
Okay.
well, we used.
sure, we have to.
at
That's the
less
idea, yeah.
Or the same or less
Yeah.
energy than
Yeah.
that baseline year.
all right,
Oh, okay,
that's all.
but the rates, okay, fine, that,
Jim and I look
you
just
should, yeah,
good.
Mike, is the new field and stuff in that calculation now, or is that separated?
It has to be, actually, we have to recalculate the baseline, because now Pearlie School's coming out.
oh, yeah, and the new one's coming in.
we're not- we
Pembroke was
can't-
never in it.
Pembroke's not in
Pembroke was
it.
never in it.
Pembroke was in it for lighting,
Okay,
because we did change all the lighting.
okay. So that's
And-
gonna
and-
come,
And we knew, at the time, we were only gonna maybe have 3 years at max of savings, but we went ahead and did it anyway. But there's gonna be stranded costs there, because they base it on a
Yeah.
15-year.
Yeah,
a town hall, the library, and the
Library wasn't in it either.
town hall and the highway garage, and
Safety building
safety building is still in it.
and Pearlie in the high school.
Yeah.
Now, the Pearlie,
Do something.
we're still trying to figure out who's gonna pay for the lights on the field. Cause that wasn't part of the ESCO.
But that's also under a separate meter,
It is.
so they don't have to really consider that.
No, they shouldn't. And they won't. And there's gonna be some, there's gotta be probably some adjustment too for the Pearly, since it's no longer gonna be used in the same manner.
Yeah, but
We should have less
Well,
usage.
not changing that much.
I wonder, because there'll be people in the building, I mean, it's not the same use, but it will be used, so it might not.
That's still gonna be pretty much the same.
Yeah, I wouldn't be surprised.
I mean, they
And-
gotta heat it, they gotta light it.
Yeah.
It's still operating. Pearly School wasn't a big number to begin with,
True.
but
Mm-hmm.
it's like this building here.
It's not, yeah.
It's a
It's not.
It's a significant number for the amount of people that are in the building.
Oh.
As compared to a school where you've got so many
All right.
students within a building, within,
And it doesn't matter how many people are here. It's a big number.
yeah.
Oh.
Okay, so, all right, so we've got the electric expense, dental insurance. It's just, these are all just basically just simple shorts.
Yes,
Okay.
Yeah.
Medicare and then streetlights.
right,
I'm assuming streetlights the same thing because the electric rates went up?
yes.
Okay. Alrighty. Anybody have any questions? All right, I'll entertain a motion to move from line item 11512 electric expense in the amount of 40, let me back up again. I'll entertain a motion to move from the reserve fund to line item 11512 electric expense in the amount of 45,000.
So moved.
Seconded.
Any further discussion? All those in favor?
Aye.
Motion carries. I'll stand a motion to move from the reserve fund to line item 19171 dental insurance in the amount of $1,095.
So moved.
Seconded.
Any further discussion? All those in favor?
Aye.
I'll stand a motion to move from the reserve fund to line item 19161 Medicare insurance in the amount of $1,300.
So moved.
Seconded.
Any further discussion? All those in favor?
Aye.
And I'll stand a motion to move from the reserve fund, to line item 14241 streetlights in the amount of $1,569.
So moved.
Seconded.
Any further discussion? All those in favor?
Aye.
All right. So, we put the copies aside so we don't do that again. Mike, while we're signing these, do you have a brief summary of how we're looking for year end and anything else that we need to know about? Except for what you've already told us about free cash and such?
No, that's pretty much it. Everything else, I mean, some of the other, even the smaller, departments, health insurance is gonna have a $10,000 balance, see, council on aging is underspent by about $14,000, and Board of Assessors is gonna be underspent by about $20,000.
Yeah.
Is there any equipment the council on aging can buy now, this year?
Because,
There's nothing, there's no place to go yet, they can't really do it?
Right.
Okay,
yeah,
I just didn't know if there was even just something small, something that they might,
no,
no, okay. Thank you, Ashley. All right, does anybody else I only have one other item to do.
No problem.
Anybody else have anything else? No. Okay, given that this is my last official meeting as chair, I'd like to, have the board vote in a new chair, so there'll be no disruption in anything that needs to get done, so there can be some continuance, so.
Who's not here?
Robin just left.
There it is. Teach her to leave.
Jim has ambition. I think he'd like it.
The, for the chair or for vice chair?
I think he'd put him in as a vice chair.
well, let's start with the chair. Is there any nomination for chair at this point?
Don't look at me, I told you, I have no
No,
aspiration.
does anybody have anyone else they would like to nominate as chair? Okay, then I would like, I would like to put a nomination in for Jim Lacy to be chair.
Sure. I second that.
You're not picking up on the vibes, are you?
No, I wasn't.
No, didn't think so.
You gotta, you know, it's just,
Okay, any other nominations?
pass a note.
Any, luckily nobody watches us anyway anymore. Any other nominations? Okay. Do you accept the nomination?
Sure.
Willingly,
Yes.
reluctantly?
Well,
There's
you
the
know,
I don't have
enthusiasm.
it on-
I'll do it.
Okay, all right. So, all those in favor of Jim Lacy being chair of the Finance and Advisory Board?
Say
Aye. You can vote for yourself.
Aye.
Okay, all those in favor.
And we
Okay,
ought to hold the vice chair for Joe,
next
because
one.
he has expressed an
right.
interest in doing that, yeah.
And then Robin will be here, too. So 6, 7, that'll be 8. And for those, if anyone is watching at home, we do have some vacancies open on the board.
I do have, I found a candidate,
Oh, good,
and he'd be very good.
good, then please put them in contact with Mr. Lacy,
I will.
Okay.
okay? 'Cause there are some other potentials, so it'd be good if they can all get in contact. One of the challenges that last time around, when we had some people that were interested, they unfortunately had class on Wednesday nights. So it's kinda like, well, that isn't really
Yeah. that's
gonna
not
work, and I think that's the biggest
This
thing
would-
is.
This would work.
Okay.
When would our next meeting be? It's like August?
I mean, it depends on what Mike needs. There's no real other need for us, I
So
think, to
this
get
fiscal
together.
year, there's nothing else for us.
No,
to
you're
really
done
do.
with, for this
Just
fiscal.
have to get ready for fall town meeting.
And that's
Yeah.
gonna be October?
Yeah, usually late October,
So the
So-
chances are our next meeting would be September, right?
September, I think. we
Unless
can-
unless something came up
Something comes
that,
up, yeah.
Yeah. Maybe end of August, but
When-
probably beginning of
Close to
September.
First of September. Okay.
I mean, the thing is, that if there, like we had before when Matt joined us and Ashley, if there is more than, 1 or 2 potential candidates, you may wanna have a meeting like in August to actually meet them and give them a chance to ask questions.
Yeah.
If
no,
there's not a clear cut, choice, because there's one other position open and there's
He's
mine.
breathing. Lives in town.
Listen down, good, that's a good thing. So, that'd be my only other suggestion. Otherwise, congratulations, Mr. Lacy,
Thank you.
being
Yes.
reposted to the position.
Yeah, no.
I'm gonna pay for this dearly, I know I am.
What's that?
I'm gonna pay for it dearly, cause I got you
No,
back
no.
on, you came back on.
No,
now you're
that's
going
right.
straight. Yeah, so,
I wanna
Be the chair
personally
before,
thank you for your
Yeah, I
leadership
was,
for the past-
yep, and I
past
left and
12
came back,
months,
and
2 years or whatever it's
Sandy
been.
asked me to come back, and as soon as I came back, she left. So
should've
that's
checked
what
it.
was
You
unfortunate.
That's how you
should
say
have
that
checked
right
the
there.
details.
yeah, he didn't check the fine print on
Yeah,
that
That's
one,
right.
so,
If you need any help on any special meeting, on me and everyone else, I'm sure.
We'll help you.
it's just, now that Mike's been here enough years,
I
it's,
do.
now that you've been here, it's not, the learning curve is over and all the budget sheets and everything is all that stuff from when you
Yeah.
first started, it was just, a lot of things were changing, so. Alrighty, if that's it, without any further ado, I'll entertain a motion to adjourn.
So moved.
Alright,
A second.
Second.
alright, thank you for joining us this evening, we're adjourned at 7:42. Thank you.